What's that? It's Hippo Balls coming to you live from the Hippo Den. It's Hippo himself, week 10 of Hippo Balls. We have missed the past few weeks. I'm sorry, I've been a bad hippo. I've been very busy. Baby Hippo almost here. But I'm excited to be back. A lot to talk about. We got the Falcons and the Colts game on in Germany right now, which is actually a good game. 17-13. Alex Pierce is looking like Jerry Rice, so that's good for Hippo. Starting off with college football roundup. The Gators stink, the Seminoles are horrible, and the Canes looked really bad in the first quarter, but then came back. They didn't cover, I think, by 0.5, but they looked fine. Starting off with who's back, of course, we got the Democrats. The Democrats are back. They crushed recent election-winning governor races in Virginia and New Jersey. They won the redistricting in California, which, of course, is very important. They even won some Supreme Court races in Pennsylvania, and I think they won some random board seats in Georgia, which hasn't been done in ages. Of course, they also won the NYC mayor race of Zoran, which I'll get into in a little bit. And they got to be feeling pretty good about themselves at the midterms for the time being. Some of the reasons that this is happening, of course, everyone is poor. Cost of living is killing most of the younger population who has no money. Sorry, a little rough. Had a few last night, of course, and I think I'm getting a little sick. But that's okay. We're going to push through because Hippo is here for you. Trump's approval rating is also very low, and the pubs have a problem because his rating is very low. They can't really distance themselves from him. And when he's not on the ballot, the people are not coming out to vote because they only really love Trump. They don't really love being Republicans. So they didn't get a good turnout, which hurt them. And the Latinos now dislike Trump because most of them are deported, and the ones that are not are upset that their friends are deported. So they are not voting for Republicans either. Next up on Who's Back, we got Javier Milei, the Argentinian president. Javier Milei, who, of course, I don't know if you saw in the group, of course you did, but did this little fun dance. What a timeline we're in. Yep, there you go. Ridiculous. Of course, he is at Mar-a-Lago at CPAC Gala, just dancing around doing the Trump dance because he was just handed $40 billion to Argentina because he's Trump's boy, even though everyone here is poor and dying. We'll get more into that. Lastly, on Who's Back, we got deaf people. Deaf people are back. For some reason, this was not happening, but a judge ordered the White House to use ASL or American Sign Language interpreters again in their briefings for the president and the press secretary. I guess budget cuts took out the interpreters for deaf people, but they are back, so deaf people can listen to whatever the heck is going on here. Who's dead? Everyone in New York is dead. Zoran Mandami won the Democratic nomination to be mayor in New York, and some people are excited, some people are upset. I am more in the upset category than the excited category. I was cuckoo for Como, and that did not work out because he's not a pervert. He is Italian, and I believe him. Silwa, that guy with the beret, also screwed it up by not dropping out, which stinks. He got 8% of the vote. I don't think Como would have won, but it still would have been way closer. Not great for everyone in New York, I believe. Overall, I think long-term not good for the Democratic Party. I know it's a win, but he's very far left. I don't like far left. I don't like far right. I am a moderate hippo myself. This guy has never had a real job in his life. He's an actor. He's a rapper. He's done a bunch of funny, stupid spoofs. He comes from a rich family and he cries poor all the time and tells everyone that we need to rise up against who. It's like the guy who shot the executive. That guy came from a really rich family. He's a poser. He's a fraud. He is a democratic socialist, which he says that he is. He also, I think, is a communist. He won't admit to that. States he wants to make the city more affordable, free buses, frozen rents, universal health care, and higher minimum wage. All of those things sound fine and dandy, but doing them is actually very hard and could actually make things more expensive. Of course, ask my dad in Cuba how communism went. It did not go great. If you just want to give everyone's money to everyone and split it up, it doesn't work. He wants to defund the police. He didn't denounce October 7th, and he kind of is anti-Semitic, even though he says now that he's not anti-Semitic. But he says something to Infidad, and he hates Israel, and he doesn't like IDF. I just think that the Democrats having Bernie, AOC, and Rashida Tlaib as their, and now Zoran as the face of the politics, that's how you end up getting Trump. I think you should have gone with Como, and even though he's not great and he kind of stinks, at least you know what you get. And New York is going to lose a ton of their billionaires and everyone else. Nobody wants to pay higher taxes. Nobody wants to pay for all this stuff and give money to just people for no reason. And they're all going to end up coming to Florida, and they're going to end up spending their money in places where they get a higher return. So overall, I think Zoran will be very bad for New York, of course, which has the largest Jewish population of any city in the world. Like I said, not that he's anti-Semitic, but he's not anti-Semitic. Don't love Zoran. Next up on Who's Dead, we got Dick Cheney. Dick Cheney's dead. For real, he died. One of the most powerful and evil vice presidents of all time. His story is a true American dream, though. He flunked out of Yale, worked as a lineman for a power company in Wyoming, got 2 DUIs as a young adult, and he went on to be Gerald Ford's chief of staff at the age of 34 somehow. What a country. He ended up joining Halliburton during Clinton's regime. He stepped out of politics for a little bit, joined this big energy evil empire company, and then he was asked by George W., to find him a vice president candidate because they were friends. And he said, I did find one, and it's me. So George Bush, of course, being George Bush, said, oh, that sounds like a good idea. It turns out that basically Cheney was president the whole time, and George Bush was just sitting there twiddling his thumbs. People allege that Cheney was acting as president and was shaping policy, which is something the vice president usually does not do. He sold the Iraq War after 9/11, which of course helped a bunch of his Halliburton buddies and a bunch of the stock that he still owned. He also shot his friend quail hunting, which was a hilarious story back in the day. R.I.P. to Dick Cheney. He was losing approval in the MAGA movement, but he's not losing approval in the Hippo household. R.I.P. to a legend, Dick Cheney. Next up on Who's Dead, we have the Jews. The Jews are dead, unfortunately. The far right and the far left hate us at this point. Tucker Carlson is doing interviews with Nick Fuentes and not stating that anything he is saying is wrong, which is not good because Nick Fuentes is says that he's a Nazi. So that's not great. Zoran, of course, not a huge fan of the Jews. The Heritage Foundation, which is like the biggest Republican organization, has Kevin Roberts coming out and saying, well, not everything Nick Fuentes says is bad, and I like Tucker Carlson, and I like whatever that black girl's name is. I forgot who she is, but whatever. She stinks too. Ben Shapiro is our only hope at this time, which is a bummer because Ben Shapiro is also a little loopy, but he is the only one standing up for us, so we got to ride the Shapiro train. This anti-Semitic movement, I don't know if you guys saw Dave Portnoy or follow Barstool at all, but Dave Portnoy is outside doing a pizza review, and some guy says, fuck the Jews, fuck Dave Portnoy. Not good. There is a huge rise in anti-Semitism with these groypers who someone in the White House for, what's his name, the vice president now, my brain is shutting off, said that like 40% of the cabinet is groypers, which is really bad because those are anti-Semitic people. I think that the Republican Party has a very big problem and they're going to have to figure it out. Trump is not anti-Semitic, I don't believe. So the MAGA movement is actually the best for the Jews at this time, but it's not good. They are at a point where it might hurt the Republicans overall, might help the Democrats if they can get out of their own way and kind of like the Jews. We'll see how it goes, but shaky times for the Jews at this point. Next up on Who's Dead, everyone on SNAP benefits. Anyone on SNAP benefits, those are food benefits. Those are the EBT cards. For some reason, of course, due to the government shutdown, which I'll get into in a few minutes, SNAP benefits have not been coming out, and that is a lot of people in this country on SNAP benefits. Whether you agree with what they should be able to buy on EBT cards or whether you agree that some of these people should be on benefits to begin with, there are a lot of very poor people on SNAP benefits, and they are going hungry, and their families are going hungry, and it's hard to be mad at kids that are hungry. So it's not good. And the courts ruled that the Trump admin had to release the EBT benefits for the people that are very hungry. And then Trump went to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court ruled he does not have to. So it's not great. Those people are not going to get SNAP benefits for a while. And next up, we have everyone flying for Thanksgiving. Everyone flying for Thanksgiving. As I stated, the government shutdown is at day 40. It is the longest government shutdown of all time. And if you are thinking of flying for Thanksgiving or you are flying for Thanksgiving, you are probably screwed. Air traffic control has like one guy working. There was almost a huge crash a few days ago. UPS plane blew up. TSA, there's like two guys working there. Flights are being grounded, flights are being canceled or exploding, or everything is not good. Trying to fly right now is going to be a mess. Waits are going to be huge. Your flight's going to get canceled. Your flight's going to get grounded. Not great. Government shutdown. Not great. Who's not back but not dead? Fins fans. Fins fans are not back but not dead. Of course, we were able to fire Greer, which is amazing. He's been with the team since 2000. He is one of the worst general managers of all time, if not the worst general manager of all time. So he is gone. Unfortunately, we still have McDaniel. We still have Tua. Tua, we cannot. We may be able to trade, I guess, if we eat a lot of salary, but he's going to be with us next year. McDaniel seems like he's going to be with us next year. We traded Jalen Phillips to the Eagles, who said it was the best thing that ever happened to him, which is funny because he just had a kid and did just get married. That's how much he enjoyed playing for the Dolphins. We did trade him, which was, I guess, good. We got a third-round pick. We didn't trade Russell Douglas. We didn't trade Chubb. We didn't trade Fitzpatrick. We didn't trade Waddle. We didn't trade A-Chain. Tua is still on the team. We should have tried to. Our asking prices, I guess, were too high for some reason. I don't know why. Let's hope for a great new GM. Let's hope that either McDaniel turns it around or somehow we fire him by the end of this year. Not great, but there's some hope. So Fins fans are not back but not dead. Sleepy Trump is not back but not dead. Hilarious meeting with the Ozempic people because he's lowering Ozempic prices for everyone, which was a big deal. And RFK is there. And these Ozempic executives are there. This old guy who's the Ozempic executive who's made $1 trillion. And Trump is there and he's like sleeping the whole meeting. And then this guy, the Ozempic executive, like dies. He like falls down and dies. And RFK runs out of the room, which is funny. And then Trump like wakes up and then just stands and stares into the abyss while everyone else is helping. Pretty good video, pretty good photo of Trump just standing there. Sleepy Trump. It would have been a huge deal if Biden was sleeping, but Sleepy Trump, he's just catching some Z's, no big deal. Home buyers are not back but not dead. Trump announced he wants to give us the option of 50-year mortgages. What a guy. FDR gave us 30-year mortgages. Now Trump is trying to give us 50-year mortgages. He's also trying to get the Redskins or the Commanders to name the stadium after him. That's another thing. Ridiculous. But that guy owns a bunch of stock, and I'm assuming he wants Trump to give his company something, so he's probably going to end up getting the stadium named after him. But back to 50-year mortgages. He wants us to have 50-year mortgages because right now the young generation is not buying houses. They're not able to buy houses. They're very poor. The average age of home buyer right now is 40, which is the highest of all time. Affordability, of course, is very bad. Young people are very poor. But this, I feel, is kicking the can down the road. People will die with mortgages and pass them on to their families, and you will have so long to build any equity. You're going to be paying PMI. You're going to be paying interest for the first 20 years of your mortgage. Usually you only stay in a house for, I think, 11.6 years was the average. So you're only going to be paying interest that whole time. You've made zero equity in your home. You've only saved yourself a few $100s at most a month by doing a 50-year mortgage, and you're paying more than double over the life of the loan. So let's say your $400,000 home, you would have paid $1 million or 1.2 at the end of the loan of a 30-year. Now you're paying 2.6. It's crazy. It's great for the lenders. It's great for the banks. I don't think it's great for the consumers. I think one of the most important things to do is stopping the private equity firms from buying up single-family homes. I also okay, never mind. Sorry, I just got a text. Yeah, I don't think the 50-year mortgage is a great idea, but good for Trump. Show of the week. Sorry, I'm a little rusty. Show of the week. Pluribus on Apple TV. It's from the Breaking Bad creators. He also did Better Call Saul, of course, and the woman from Better Call Saul is the main actress. The main character is the most miserable person on Earth, and the challenge of saving the world from happiness. There's an alien virus that makes everyone very happy, and she needs to try to defeat this. It's a sci-fi show. It's basically about AI and other stuff and how the society is being ruined. It's a very good show so far. There's only, I think, 2 episodes out. Really like it. You should watch it. Bets of the day. Fins, of course, I'm going to nibble on the Fins. I also had Alex Pierce props, which I'll hit, by the way. So good for that. Didn't get you those. But Finns, Bills, I think over 50. I do think the Finns scores. I'm also taking them over 18.5. We always play the Bills kind of close. I'm also taking the +9. I could be very wrong. The team's very bad, but I think that the Bills, there could be some like backdoor cover scenarios there. Panthers -5 at home against the Saints. I think the Saints are just huge frauds. Their O line is literally pumpkins. Kamara is just chilling. They got Tyler Slow out there. The Panthers, I think, are sneaky a good team. Other than Bryce Young, I think their defense is very good. I think that their weapons are pretty good. Their run game is pretty good. Once they get a good quarterback, I can see them being in the playoffs. Lions -8 at Washington. Washington has Mariota starting. They also don't have Scary Terry. Their running has not been great lately. I think that the Lions coming off, I think back-to-back losses. I could be wrong on that. Coming off back-to-back losses, I see them having a big comeback here. Lions -8, give me that. And then Bucks -2.5 at home against the Patriots. That's the game of the day for me. It should be a great game. I do think that Baker comes back and looks good. Give me that. I think that's all we got. Have a day. Happy to be back. Let's go.